GMs just made their return this week for the season, and overload bows is our main focus. It's going to be in just about every build that you see out there. So what are the bows that you need to go for? What are the best ones? Well, I'm going to show you right here, and I'm going to explain the best perks that you want to go for and how to get all these bows. So stick around. Now let's jump right into it. First of all, the two perks that we're looking for, the absolute best perks that we can get on these bows, is Archer's Tempo and Explosive Head. Explosive Head is going to give you some extra damage because when you shoot the target, after a few seconds, it's going to explode again. Then we have Archer's Tempo, where when we land precision hits, it's going to decrease our draw time. Now, as far as frames go, we have Precision, which is a little bit more accurate, but our draw time is a little bit slower. And then we have Lightweight, which you're going to be able to shoot less of a distance. It's going to be a little less accurate, but you're going to be shooting significantly faster. For precision frames, as long as you have Explosive Head and a minor spec on, you will two-shot red bars every single time. Not all the gameplay has a minor spec on, that's why we're not two-shotting everything. Now, as far as lightweight frames go, your kinetic lightweight frames are not going to two-shot. It's just not possible. But if you're following the Singe, so if that's Void, Solar, or Arc, whatever that is, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to two-shot. It depends on your light level. You have to be pretty close to the recommended light level for GMs to two-shot, but you can do it. Now you may be thinking, what is the point in running a lightweight frame over a precision frame? Not every damage type has a frame in both categories. Like Arc, for example, we do not have a precision frame Arc with Explosive Head and Archer's Tempo. It's just not an option. So we have to go with lightweight frame. But the following bows that I'm going to show you are the best in class. These are the ones that you really want to go for. Okay, first up, let's talk about our kinetic slot. Now, if you're running a bow in the kinetic slot, your best possible option is Accured Redemption. As long as you have Explosive Head and a minor spec, you will two-shot every single red bar. Quick disclaimer on this weapon. If you do not have one and you want to get one, you can go into Garden of Salvation and get one, but farm at your own risk. Bungie said they are going to update the loot pools for all the previous raids to have origin traits. This bow does not have an origin trait on it yet, but it will in the future. So there's a chance that you may spend a lot of time grinding for this bow, and then in a month or two, they're going to come out with the origin trait, and you'll have to do it again because the origin trait is really, really good. That being said, if you don't care about the origin trait, go for it. Go farm for it. Now, what is the god roll for Accured Redemption? You want Elastic Strings. This will bring your draw time down close to a lightweight frame draw time. Then we have Straight Fletching. This just gives us some more accuracy, Archer's Tempo, and Explosive Head. And then a draw time masterwork. If you have this, this is a perfect god roll, and this is the best bow that you can get in the game for the kinetic slot as far as GMs go. Now, if you don't want to farm for this because it may take you some time, or if you don't have access to GOS, I've got two other options for you. They're super quick, and they're not very hard to get. First up, we have Fel Tardiddle, and this comes from the Witch Queen Wellspring activity. All you have to do is get 2 red borders, and it's craftable. And then you can get Explosive Head and Archer's Tempo on it. Super, super easy, and it's great. It's lightweight frame, so you're going to be doing a little bit less damage, but it's a really good bow. And if you don't want to do that, I've got one other option for you, and it's the Biting Winds combat bow. The nice thing about the Biting Winds is it's a guaranteed drop. All you got to do is go to Varix and complete the Dark Priestess Empire hunt, and you will get a guaranteed Biting Winds every single time you complete it, and you can repeat it over and over again until you get the god roll. It is a precision frame, but the reason why I'm not recommending this over the other two is because it doesn't have Archer's Tempo. You have Explosive Head, but your first perk column just doesn't have anything overly great. It really just doesn't match up to the other ones because you won't be getting that increased fire rate. Now, moving from kinetic, we're going to move into our solar slot, and we're going to talk about the Strident Whistle. This was last season's Vanguard bow that was dropping, and it is an absolute beast. It's just like Accured Redemption, but it's solar instead of kinetic. As far as the god roll goes, it's the same as the Accured Redemption. We want a draw time masterwork with Elastic String, Straight Fletching, Archer's Tempo, and Explosive Head. The huge downside to this weapon is it's in a massive weapon pool. There's tons of Vanguard weapons, and the perk pool is absolutely ginormous, so it's going to take a while to get the weapon and the roll you want. That's the only sucky thing. If you'd like to increase your chances of getting the Strident Whistle, go ahead and put on the Vanguard Prosperity mod on your Ghost Shell, and that'll give you an extra chance at a Vanguard piece of gear. Now, the Strident Whistle is a pain in the butt to get. Like, I don't even have one, so the alternative option and the one that I run with is the Tyranny of Heaven. It's from the Last Wish raid, and it is a lightweight frame. So you're going to be doing a little bit less damage, but you're going to be throwing out arrows ridiculously fast because of the perks you can get on it. The absolute god roll is a draw time masterwork with Elastic String, which minuses 80 from our draw time. So it's the fastest draw time you can get with a bow. Then we have Straight Fletching, Archer's Tempo, and Explosive Head. This is going to be an absolute machine in any GM. It's not a super high impact one, but it's going to be throwing out arrows constantly. So you're going to be tearing through lots of stuff with this. Moving on from solar, we're going to jump right into void, and there's only one option from this, and it's the under your skin combat bow, and it's arguably the best pick out of any of these bows for a few reasons, and that is that it's craftable and it's super easy to obtain. It comes from Season of the Risen, so as long as you've played Season of the Risen, you probably have it. You can also target it in the helm at the Season of the Risen vendor. As far as the god roll goes, we want a draw time masterwork with elastic string to decrease our draw time, straight fletching, enhanced archer's tempo, and enhanced explosive head if you can get them. Enhanced explosive head is going to give you some bonus accuracy, and enhanced archer's tempo is going to dramatically decrease your draw time every time you get a precision hit. So this bow almost acts like a lightweight bow, but it hits just like a precision frame. And if you're going to get any bow out of any of these on the list, get this one. Moving on from void, we go into arc, and sadly there's not a lot of choice for this one. It is the arsenic bite, and it doesn't have a perfect god roll, and it's kind of hard to get because it's a world drop, so it's just going to be a random drop, or you have to hope that one of the vendors is selling it. It's very similar to the biting winds, whereas archer's tempo is just not an option for this bow because archer's tempo is in the same slot as our explosive head. So we just can't sacrifice explosive head for archer's tempo. Even though we don't have archer's tempo, we have dragonfly, and dragonfly is going to give you an arc explosion on those precision kills, which is good because we're only going for precision hits with these bows. As for the god roll, we want draw time masterwork, elastic string to decrease that draw time, straight fletching, dragonfly, and explosive head. Now, being the arsenic bite is very hard to get, if not impossible, I have one other suggestion for you in the arc category, and that is Point of the Stag. Head on over to the Exotic Archive and pick this up. It'll only cost you one Ascendant Shard and some other loose materials, and then you'll have a pretty decent arc bow for GMs. And this will give you Archer's Tempo and Vorpal, which is not a bad roll by any means, we just don't get that extra damage from Explosive Head. Those are all the bows that are going to roll with Explosive Head, and they're also the best bows that you can get in the game. Now, if I'm going to suggest the top tier picks out of all this list, the Accured Redemption is number 1 for Kinetic, the Under Your Skin is the number 1 for Void, the Arsenic Bite is the number 1 for Arc, the Tyranny of Heaven is the number 1 for Solar. Those are my top tier picks, and I suggest you bring all of those into GMs this season, and that is it for the video. If you enjoyed this video or found any of the content entertaining or helpful, please hit that subscribe button and like down below. It would help me out so much and I'd be so grateful. Thank you so much for watching, Guardians, and have a wonderful day.